Well, folks, what's going on? It is Wednesday night, and Studycation has started. It has been a good start so far. Hope you're having a good Wednesday night, everyone. Let's talk about a few little things here. Yeah, this will be a brief, I always say that, right? It should be a brief vlog. Not too much to talk about today. I've just been axe to the grindstone. Um, I was looking at this Azure Dev Test pricing. Not sure what this is. I'm going to look at that in a minute. Just some new announcement that they have. I was guilty. I was looking at Twitter here while I was waiting for the stream to start. But yeah, Studycation has begun. 14 days to go. So, it's all about a microcosm right now of, reinforcing things I've learned, reinforcing memory, checking on some things that I may not have learned a little deep enough. And that's what I've been trying to do today. I got up and I've been studying all day. And, Studycation has started. So this, let me just go and pull up the calendar. This is kind of what my schedule is for this week. Well, for the next 14 days, really. And so today was all about reviewing the drill sheet from time to time. Every day I pick one subject or one tool for just general review. And then I pick another tool I pick another area of the blueprint that I'm working on. So today's area of the blueprint was network principles. And, I spent a good bit of time on that. I'll share that in a moment. Yeah, network principles of the day. And then the drill sheet, which I did work some on the drill sheet. I have it here. I have the blueprint checklist here as well. These have been my two pretty big tools today. So I've been revising this, making it a little more usable. I have not actually tested in this yet, but I have been going through, just taking some things out, putting some other things in, and just kind of reviewing. So that's been going well. And then I've been going through and marking. I don't know if you remember yesterday, I had quite a few things marked as a C, and I've been going through and checking those off as I study those materials. And folks, let me tell you, Douglas Comer's book is great for this part of the blueprint, network principles. I reviewed a number of areas. I've got some foreign money here as a bookmark, but it's a very small, it holds very low value, put it that way. But yeah, I've been reviewing in particular a lot about connectionless datagram delivery, IPv4, IPv6, talking about headers, optional headers for IPv6, header sizes. Went through Ceph, reviewed Ceph, hashing algorithms, the LFib. I went over some material on that today, polarization. Unicast flooding, I still need to do a little bit of review on that, although I feel like I'm doing pretty well on that. What else did I review here? Looked at, extensively extension headers and fragmentation. I spent a lot of time on fragmentation, actually. And, just some review and some details there that I think are going to be important upcoming. So that's what I've been working on today. And then tomorrow is going to be layer 2. So I feel like I'm going to wrap this up and feel like I'm going to turn all these C's to B's by the end of the day. A couple of these are kind of a little more esoteric or just need a little practice. But yeah, that's what I'll be doing for today. So tomorrow will be layer 2. I'll be hitting layer 2 MTU. I actually kind of covered that today already, actually, Ethernet frames and things like that. I would talk about LLDP and CDP a little bit, extended VLANs, and this is just mainly about memorizing those reserved VLAN numbers is what that is. So 1002 through 1005, as I remember it. And then VTP v3, some of those VTP v3 features and comparison, and also compatibility between different versions. Be reviewing that. Ether channel, layer 3 Ether channel in particular, reviewing that a little bit. Some load balancing options with Ether channel. Misconfiguration guard, PVST, RPVST plus, and MST, and in particular where these interact at borders. So I'm going to be looking at that. Disabling spanning tree protocol. I seem to always sort of get a little off track on there and what feature is it that actually disables spanning tree protocol. Just because you are blocking that you would block a BPDU does not mean that STP is disabled. So loop guard, subtleties there. I've got root guard pretty well down, but it's a loop guard. And also comparison with loop guard and some of the other features like, UDLD and bridge assurance, things like that. Stack-wise selection order, need to go over the review of that memorization. STP, dispute, bridge assurance. IGMP filter, proxy. I'm feeling okay. I already did some review on Querier, like when you have a layer 2 switch and you have multicast hosts, but the switch does not detect a multicast router connected. It can do snooping, but how can you act as a querier? So I've already gone over that. MLD, just for IPv6. HDLC and PPP differences, authentication on PPPoE, MLPPP. And this, I plan to spend a good bit of time on Metro. And in fact, I may start at the bottom with these tomorrow. So that's what we got going on tomorrow. I've made a lot of good progress in terms of tomorrow I'm supposed to work on flashcards. Actually, when working on the drill sheet today and doing all my review, I've been expanding on my flashcard set. My flashcard set is growing, folks. And it's growing to be a little more generic. And to be honest, I wish I would have gotten into this earlier. I know I'd read blogs about it and things like that, but and people recommending it. And let's see, how many cards do I have? 124 cards. So I've just been adding, a lot of little detailed things in here that I want to be sure I have, remember. And I don't know when I'm going to go over these because tomorrow I'm just going to create more cards. I may change the strategy up a little bit. So I don't know, there's just not enough time, If only there was more time. Anyway, that's where I'm at today, folks. I did a few small labs today, but nothing big to where I'm like, let me fire up the stream because this lab is going to take me a while. No, it's just like 2-3 routers here and there. CEF, RIP. I did answer this question about RIP. So this came up yesterday in terms of, the summary address. And of course, we can send multiple summary addresses on an interface, but if they are in overlapping space, the RIP will send the best summary route, and it will not leak this subnet of that summary route, right? It does not summarize on the classful boundary, though, if auto summary is disabled. I just wanted to confirm that. I was pretty sure in my head about that. That came up a question yesterday. And I was almost 100% sure. I was like 95%. But you know what? Let me just do a little more review. And so I labbed this just to confirm that, if I have this loop back 10.0.0.1, which is /32, I send these two summary addresses. It will send the better summary route. With auto summary disabled, it will not summarize on the classful boundary. It will summarize this address. So that works. As I can see here, it actually still sent. Oh, it did leak the route, didn't it? I need to back out of that a little bit. So, man, I'm glad this is one reason I stream, because I have to explain things and show them on the screen. And sometimes in my head, they're wrong. But as you can see here on router 2, I actually received 3 routes under the class A 10.0.0/8 here. I have both of these summary routes. And I have the host route, because this interface was also included in RIP. So take that back. I have all these. Okay, so now I remember what the question that came up on. So let's say you do auto summary. And let's say I have, let me put a couple of different summary addresses here. And have auto summary turned on. And let's add one more, IP summary address RIP 10.0.0.0, 252.0.0.0. So this is in effect, right, 10.0.0.0/24. See if you know the answer to this, 10.0.0.0/16. 10.0.0.0/6. 2, 4, yeah. Okay, so auto summary is turned on. It is enabled. First of all, I'm not sure. I believe it does allow you to add these routes, even with auto summary enabled. I believe it does. But what will router 2 see? What route will it see from RIP? Any thoughts? Any ideas? Anyone in the chat? There may not be anybody, folks. It's getting close to holidays. People are like, what are you doing? You're crazy. You're like streaming and studying. You're taking time off. Don't worry, folks. I do have some travel time next week. I'll be on the road a little bit, visiting some family. And, you know, I'm going to, you know, I am still, it's funny, my wife took a short trip, she took a little trip too, and she's like, now, these days I'm gone, she's like, now, I know you're going to be studying, but make sure that you know, go to the gym still and eat like you're supposed to, and it was funny because she knows me. She knows I will get so into what I'm working on that I'll forget to live. And so anyway, don't worry, folks. I am going to be here in the land of the living as much as I can. But anyway, so if you haven't thought, no volunteers here. What this will do is advertise a /8. When you turn on auto summary, I don't care what you have running on 10. You could have 100 loopbacks, all /32s inside the 10.0.0/8. It's not going to allow you to summarize above or below the classful boundary. That's right, Mark Milo. You're on it, man. I know there's a delayed chat, so I know you had it. You had it, buddy. It's gonna summarize on classful boundary, and that's it. End of story. Now, I'm not sure about that with EIGRP, and that's one thing I'll be reviewing with. I'm going to do the same lab with EIGRP. I'm also going to do the poison route poisoning stuff when I get to EIGRP. So that's going to be Friday. So look for me to actually fire up a lab and a stream during the day on Friday, because there's a lot to cover here. I mean, I don't have weaknesses in all these areas. Well, you know what? I spent a lot of time on. Yeah, layer 3 might spill into Saturday. It will. So we'll probably cover that as well. But believe the defense iOS version with EIGRP. Let us know if you can confirm it via lab. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I believe I've read the same, Mark Milo. But yeah, let me clean this up here. And I have one trivia question. Like I said, it was going to be brief. It's been a boring day to actually watch what I'm doing, because there have been very few labs, and I've been, you know, book open, nose in ear, and just reading and filling out flashcards, but it's been very productive. I'm just trying to maintain my energy. That's one thing, is to take breaks. Trying to make sure I take breaks and I don't get overloaded. But here's a trivia question for the day related to network principles portion of the blueprint. At ingress, how does a router know whether to use the fib or the LFib for a forwarding decision? And in the meantime, while anyone is considering that, I'm going to link this article. This is a great article, by the way. I read through this whole thing, most of it. I think did I post it in Discord? If not, I will. But one of the better Cisco docs I've seen on the topic of fragmentation. And I may have actually seen it before, but just forgotten about it. But it's a very well done article, and I used it today as well as the books to get through a lot of those different fragmentation scenarios. Anyway, at ingress, how does a router know whether to use the fib or LFib for a forwarding decision? So what it does, and I'm going to pull up, I think I created a card on this. Nice thing about Anki is you can't search. All right. And I want to get the, okay, this is the answer here, folks. It's the ether type, right? The layer 2 ether type or protocol ID field. For example, we know 0800, that's IPv4. MPLS multicast is 8848. So that's what it's looking at. And that's how it knows which information base to reference for the forwarding decision, right? So good stuff. All right, folks, that is it for the day. I have just, if you have not voted yet, you probably have for the IT Blogs of the Year award hosted by Cisco in our category Best Podcast or Video Series. So appreciate your vote if you haven't already. I don't know when that closes, but anyway, we're going to be back at it tomorrow. And I am in Discord a lot more when I have a day off. So I've been interacting with folks. There have been some good conversations fired up today. Thanks everyone for hanging out with us in the Discord. And you can look for me definitely there a lot tomorrow and with some layer 2. So let me just look back at one more thing on the layer 2. There may be some potential labs. There really wasn't a lot for network technologies or network principles, but for layer 2, I can foresee maybe some LLDP. And I don't know, time permitting, I may dip into layer 3 as well because I'm just afraid about my timing on that. We may do some MST review and loop guard and PPP. That's the thing. The hardest part about studying, it's not the actual studying for me. It's where to invest the time, right? Well, anyway, folks, I think that's going to wrap it up for today. Thanks for hanging out in the Land Tamer stream. And I wish everyone a great Thursday tomorrow at work or wherever you may be doing. Oh, you're very welcome, Mark Milo. Great to have you in the chat here, my friend, as always. And I'm sending you good bits, bud, so that for whatever it is that you're working on or studying. And we shall see you all again back here tomorrow, same time, 7 p.m. or earlier, here on the Land Tamer stream. Have a good night.